Inside of this video, I'll be covering the systems that you can put in place inside of your school community to boost the engagement. And this is a step-by-step guide to setting everything up. So the first thing is community leaders. Now these will appear organically, but there are a few things you have to keep in mind with community leaders. The first thing is that you want to reward the people who provide value and rise in the ranks. And there are many different ways to reward these people. You can give them status by giving them personal acknowledgements. You can even give them jobs inside of your community so that they can share their knowledge and help you in providing more value. Another thing you want to do is you want to punish them if they defect. Now, I know that sounds weird, but this is a military style approach. And I'm going to use an analogy to explain this to you. So you are the king or queen of your community. Your team are the lords and ladies and advisors, and a member joins as a civilian. Ambitious members will rise to become majors and generals. And they do this by providing value to the community, and then people start to follow them because they're interested in what they have to say. And so they're influencers inside of your broader influencer space. Now the question you have to ask yourself is what happens when they defect? So what happens when they start selling their own products or they start smearing your brand or you as a person? Well, I'll tell you my story. So I was part of a very big community and I rose to the rank of general. And we had about 5 generals and I was the top person of a niche. And one of these generals decided to defect. So this general had a bunch of followers who liked what he had to say. And these followers then decided to follow the general instead of the king because they were more loyal to the general than to the king. And this is something that can really happen a lot, especially in free communities. And the way that this general affected was by starting to smear the teachings and the brand of the creator. And what happened was all the other generals started to pick sides. So one went with the king, one went with other generals. And because I was a general, people also asked me to pick a side. I tried to sit the fence, but I leaned towards the creator. And at that point, we had a full civil war inside of that community. It was the followers of that general against the followers of that creator. The general lost, which is common because in 99% of cases they will, because the authority comes from the king or queen, also known as the creator. But something very important that has to be noted here is that permanent damage was done to the community and the business of the creator. So this creator lost a whole lot of potential revenue just because one of the generals who had followers, who had people looking up to what that general was saying, because that general defected, a lot of damage was done to the brand of that creator, which did cost him a lot of potential money. Now here's how you want to prevent any generals from defecting and how you want to keep them in line. So if criticism comes from a civilian, so somebody who just joins and is level 1, it doesn't hurt you. But if it comes from a general, so somebody who was constantly posting and was at a very high level inside of the community, who has a lot of people following them from your community, who has a lot of people engaging with their posts and checking out what that general posts, that does hurt you. So if they start to criticize you, that does hurt you. It hurts your brand, it hurts your business. And that's why you want to give your generals access to your DMs. And this is especially true in a free community. Because yes, in paid, they most likely already have it. But in a free community, you want to be like, hey, if you have any problems with me, if I'm not doing things right, you can just DM me, tell me what's wrong. I'll respond to you. I'll help you out. Since you are such a big person inside of this community and you represent a lot of people, I'm going to see what I can do to help you. And this makes it so that if they have complaints, they come to you directly. There's a phrase in marketing which is being said by people selling something. So let's say, if it's good, tell others. If it's bad, come to us. Meaning that if they sell something good, then they want people telling about the good stuff they sell. But if they sell something bad, then they want people complaining to them so that it doesn't affect them. And that is exactly what you want to do here. The next thing you want to do is inspire loyalty. So you want to make it so that the people who follow you and those generals are loyal to you. And you want to do that by providing value to them, by helping them with their problems. Now, this is already common in school communities, but if you're really not listening to what the community is saying, even in regards to moderation, for example, like things are not being properly moderated, that could lose people's loyalty. That's why you really want to inspire loyalty and make it so that people are eager to follow you. Next thing you want to do is you want to reward good behavior. So if a general is providing value, you want to say, hey, you're doing really great. And this makes it so they're less likely to criticize you publicly. They may still do it privately, but they're less likely to do it publicly, and that's good for you. And what this does is it increases the value inside of your community. Community leaders will also rise up for status or for other benefits. So maybe you give them roles in your team, and that makes it so that they can earn money just from talking about the things that they like talking about. And this also makes it so that you prevent that damage is done to the community. Now let's look at the next system, and that is post collection. This one is pretty simple. You want to open up your community and you want to open a text document. Next, what you want to do is you want to add all the good posts from the last couple of days inside of the text document. So you just paste the links in there. You want to do this every 3 to 4 days, and at the end of the month you open up the document. Open up each post, and then you want to write a post giving credit to each person with a short description of the post. So this post really explained this topic in detail. It's a very good post, you should go and read it, something like that. And what this does is it makes people want to post, and it makes the community leaders more loyal because they really want to show up at the end of the month on their post collection, because that also gives them more status, which is a very powerful driver for a lot of people. And it also organizes the community created value, which makes it so that people have good access to all the things that have been posted that have value, and so they can check out and find where they have problems, and then they can use those posts that have been made by the community to solve their problems and use them as solutions. The next system that we will be looking at is topic focused weeks. Now this is a light version of events. The first thing you have to do is think of a problem your audience has, and this has to be niche relevant. So if you're in the cooking niche, then you have to think, okay, they can't cook this particular dish very well, let's help them out with that. Then you want to think of a solution. So how can they cook this dish better? And then you want to make a post telling your audience that you will now be focusing on this problem for 1 week, and so that gets the community engaged. Again, this is like a mini version of events, and I'll add a link in the description for the events video, but this is a mini version that also increases the engagement that you have inside of your community. And then once the week ends, you post the value that was created inside of the community into the classroom page. And what this does is it makes people want to post because they have the same problem. So they can't cook a particular dish, and you focus on that dish, and all of a sudden they can cook it. And it also gets the conversation going in a controlled environment. Another thing it does is it gives more value when the classroom gets filled. So all of a sudden there's all these pages and extra things people can look into for particular dishes, and they have an entire cooking book, for example, inside of the classroom page. Another thing it does is it gives an incentive for posting because status is involved. Then let's look at the next system, and that is offering a reward. So first you have to decide on a reward, and this can be very broad. It can go from a picture or a book from you signed by you, or a piece of merch, or really anything like a free call. This can be really broad, and so you have to decide on a reward that you're willing to give out every week or every month. And then you want to tell people that the person who ranks first on the leaderboard for either a week or a month gets that reward. And then you want to give that reward. And you want to make it so a person who wins has a 2-cycle countdown if the reward is weekly, and a 1-cycle countdown if it's monthly. And this is to prevent others from being discouraged. And what I mean by this is, let's say person A wins the first month, and then person A wins again the second month. If you don't add in a cycle, then person A will always get rewards, and then will make it so people get discouraged. So then maybe person B ranks second. You want to give that reward to person B for that second month, just to keep people engaged with the community, to make it so that it's worth it for them to engage. And what this does is that the people who want a reward will provide value to the community in order to get points so that they can rank on the leaderboards, get their reward, and this increases the value and it increases the engagement inside of your community. And then let's look at the final system, and that is personal mentions. So you want to find the people who put in the most effort and get the most engagement on their post. And then you want to make a post thanking them. Now you don't want to do this too often, since then it's really not as organic, but it's like, oh, this person has really been putting in a lot of effort. I'm gonna acknowledge that they're doing a great job, and I'm gonna give them credit for it. And what this does is that the people who want your validation and the validation of others will be more likely to create value for the community. And those are 5 systems that you can implement inside of your community today to boost the engagement. If this video was helpful, then like and subscribe. And if you're a content creator and you want me to help you in creating and scaling an info product, or you just want to know why I make these videos, then click the first link in the description.